Mrs. Fernandi here. Welcome to week 9 of spelling. We are going to talk this week about the long I sound. One of the ways we spell that is I consonant E with a silent E at the end. The consonant is usually indicated by an underline mark. So I underline E stands for I consonant E. Any consonant will do. And then we have the IGH. We know that the IGH is silent, but it's actually kind of in the English language helping the I say its long sound. And then lastly, the Y, when it says the long I sound, that happens at the end of short one-syllable words. It also happens at the end of a syllable sometimes, like in the word deny. That's a Y. It's a two-syllable word, but it's at the end of the one short syllable there. That's a little bit more rare, but let's get going. So here's our long I, spelled I, consonant E. Size, you can see that that's I, the consonant is Z, and the I'm just going to grab a pen really quickly, that the consonant is Z, and that we've got the long, the silent E at the end. Then we have decide, there's our long I, there's the D is the consonant in this case, and silent E. Ice, long I, consonant C, and then the E, the silent E at the end. Remember that whenever we have E, I, or Y after the letter C, it makes the S sound. Strike, we have the long I, the K is our consonant, and E is our silent E at the end there. Tide, we have long I, consonant is D, and then silent E at the end. And lastly, we have sunshine. So we can break this word right here. This is our first syllable, sun. Of course, this is also a compound word because sun and shine are words all by themselves as well. There's our long I sound. Our consonant is N, and there's our silent E. Crocodile, croc, here's a, that wasn't very well done. This is a short O, croc O. This is an open syllable right here, long O. That's okay if you don't remember all of this, but if I just keep teaching it to you, you'll get it eventually. And then in dial, we have the long I, the consonant is an L, and then we have the silent E at the end, crocodile. Satellite, same thing, sat, which is a short A sound, the cat is at the chair. Sat, L-E-L, that's a short E as well, sat. And some people might say that as a schwa. And then I is our long I, T is the consonant there, and silent E at the end. Strikes, 3 strikes and he's out. Here is our long I, our consonant in this case is K, and then we've dropped our silent E, but we've added in the ES right there. Okay, and quite, don't forget, when we have the Q sound, the Q always gets followed by the letter U in an English word. Some words we have borrowed, and so you'll find a Q every once in a while that doesn't get followed by U, but you should pretty much think of that as a guaranteed rule. There's our long I, quite, and the T is our consonant, and the letter E is silent. All right, let's move on. Let's go to long I, spelled I-G-H. This one is fight. IGH in the middle there. Fright, IGH there. All right, IGH right there. Oh, and this, very importantly, they are 2 separate words, all right. Okay, in this case. Mighty, IGH is the long I sound. Knight, like the knight in shining armor, here's our silent K, and then IGH there to spell knight. Delighted, this is delighted. This is actually a schwa sound here. And then I, long I sound, there's the end of the word, and then we've added on the suffix ed, delighted, delighted. Frighten, same thing. Here is the base word, fright, IGH makes the long I sound, and then en is our suffix or our ending. Midnight, here we have our syllable break. Mid is our prefix. IGH is the long I sound, followed by the letter T. All right, long sound, the sound of long I spelled with a Y. We have, here it is at the end of a 1-syllable word. My, fry, buy, why, and cry. Oh, and there's the word deny, which I talked about before. Deny is a 2-syllable word, but in this case, it's an open little syllable at the end that we're going to spell with a Y. And then sometimes the Y, the long I, can be spelled Y in the middle of the word. Like in the word type, I need to type on my paper. T-Y-P-E, there's the silent E. It sort of has the same rule as I, consonant E, but in this case it's Y, making the long I sound consonant E. And then we have hype and hyper. So those are just some quick little ones. Okay, here are this week's words. This week's words, the first one is size. The store has those shoes in my size. Here's our long I, consonant Z, and silent E. And it looks a bit like this when we are trying to show what it looks like. So we have the long I, we have this underline for whatever constant we want to put there, and then the silent E. Fight. We heard two cats in a fight last night. Here we have the word fight, IGH, and the word night, IGH, but our word for the week is fight. These cats, I'm not sure if they're fighting or hugging, but they're awfully cute. Shy. Sometimes I'm shy and don't want to speak to the whole class. Here is our our Y making the long I sound. Shh is our consonant digraph, shh, and then Y spelled long I. Decide. Decide. This is a schwa in our first syllable. Decide. Here is our long I. Consonant is D and silent E. I need to decide what to wear tomorrow. Fright. The actor at the haunted house gave us a fright. We're using the IGH to make the long I sound there again. And all right. Remember, this is two words, all and then right. I'll be all right if in this heat after I've had some water. So we have the IGH there in the word right. We have the two separate words. When all is by itself, it does have a double L. When it is an ending or the AL becomes the beginning of a word, we drop one of those L's. Ice, we added ice so the drinks would be cold. Again, we have a long I, consonant C, and then the silent E at the end. Type, he prefers the seedless type of orange. Whatever this word used as type, like a particular brand of orange, the word type is the same exact spelling as the word I have to type in my paper. So whichever way helps you remember, the words are spelled the same and they sound the same. Strike, she swung at the pitch and missed. It was a strike. Now be careful because you have to hear that all three of those consonants at the beginning. STR, then we've got our long I, we've got our K, spelled with a K for our consonant, and our silent E at the end. Beyond, the stream is just beyond that grove of trees. This is a long E sound, B, yond, right? Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to move myself over here into the night sky. Science, this is important. The way to remember how to spell science is to really break it up into two syllables. So the first I is an open syllable here, sci, and then ence is our ending. And if you have worked with me before, you know that ENCE is a very typical ending on a word. So long I is all by itself here in the beginning, and then we can just spell ence, E-N-C-E. In science class, we learned about the molten rock under the Earth's surface. Clear, we use the EA to make the long E sound. The sky was clear and bright at night. Further, we read further in our book because it was so interesting. I love to hear that. Further, we have our sound spelled UR in this case in the first syllable and ER in the second syllable. Remember, those sounds can be spelled many different ways, so we do need to get used to which one to use. Further, UR in the first syllable, ER in the second syllable. Among, this is a schwa in our first syllable. I think we've talked about this before, but about, among, those words with the A at the front is a schwa spelled with the letter A. Among. There are too many weeds among the flowers. And our last word, behind. Here is the long E sound. Some people say behind, and that would be a schwa spelled with an E. I say behind. And then this is the long I with the I-N-D, Eind. Don't fall behind. We must all stay together. So those are your 15 words. Make sure you go back. Make sure you've jotted them down so you can put them onto the template in Seesaw. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about suffixes on consonant-E words. So this is words that end in a consonant and then the silent E at the end. So let's do that now. So here we have the word ride. It's the same thing we've just been talking about, long I, followed by consonant, which is a D in this case, and then the silent E. In order to add an ending, we are going to drop the E and then add ing. So riding becomes R-I-D-I-N-G. We've dropped the E away from there. Same with name. In this case, we have long A. Then we have our consonant is M and the silent E. We're going to drop the E and add ED. Named. It's just easier. I know it seems like we're just adding a D, but if you think of this as a whole ending every time, then you'll remember the dropping E rule better. So drop the E and then add on ED. Okay. And then hide, the long I sound. D is our consonant. E is silent. We're going to drop the E and add ing. So we have hiding. And then bake. We have a long A sound, the K making the consonant sound, and then silent E. We're going to drop that E and we're going to add ER. Baker. She was a really good baker. And shine. We have a long I sound here, followed by the consonant N, silent E. Shine, drop the E, add ing. Shining. And lastly, fine. We have long I sound, followed by consonant N, followed by the E. You know what we're going to do. We're going to drop that E, and then we're going to add back an E. We're going to add the EST, because that is our ending. So if we just always drop the E, then we can just add freely what our ending is, and we don't have to worry about, because of course you can't have a double E, right? Okay, that is it for today. Here for the new stuff today, and here are our review words. Return. Return, we separate there. Whenever, we can actually see whenever. We see 3 syllables, and when and ever it's actually a compound word as well. Let me make that a little bit, we're going all over the place there. Whenever, and then we can see the at the end there. Whether I like ice cream or cookies better. Because this is the ending here. This is a short E sound, so we want to have the TH, that consonant digraph, stick with the E. Birth, there we have the spelled with IR. Firm, again, we've spelled this with an IR for the sound. Center, this is right between our 2 consonants. It's so nice and clear when we have 2 consonants that aren't forming a digraph. We know we could just split our syllables right down there. We can say center. The trick with this word is to remember that it's a C, not an S, to make this sound at the beginning. Better, we're going to divide our syllable right between our consonants, and especially if they're 2 consonants that are the same, then that's really easy. Better, there's our sound. Shoulder, here is, again, shoulder. The ER spelling the sound. America, there is our sound in the middle there. Remember, capital A, because it's the formal name of a place. And meet, to meet someone in the street, right? To meet, that's a good way to remember. If I meet you in the street, I'm going to use the double E instead of MEAT, which we talked about last week. Some people eat meat. Those 2 words have the EAT ending. All right. Let's just remember our memory steps. Remember to read the word, say the syllables to help you spell, underline any hard parts, and cover the word. Say and write the word by syllables. This is such a good way to study for your spelling tests. Make sure you always check. And that is it. Look out for your midweek activity this week, and then I'll see you again on Friday for the test. Well done.